Hey, what's up, Bitcoin Chaser fans? And we have a few guest speakers, which is really cool. We are live from Dubai. So that is the first thing we're going to have a look at. Sfi from Dubai, the Blockchain Summit, has given us some exclusive content, and we're going to jump straight in with that.
Thanks, Kane. This is Sfi. We're live from Dubai International Blockchain Summit. And we caught up with a couple of guys, but just some very interesting ICOs we're talking to. We're talking to Vertex and Mobu. So, quick questions. So, how's it, guys? We're live now. Bitcoin Chaser going out to the world. Let's talk to Mobu for a second. You want to introduce yourself quickly?
Good day, View. You guys are missing out on one of the largest events in the world currently. Mobu, in short, we're a decentralized platform for launching compliant security tokens. Similar to the HTTP protocol define the internet, a MOP20 standard protocol will define the way, the set of commands a compliant security token will implement going forward.
Brilliant. Let's go over to Vertex on the other side.
Sorry, I don't have that energy level anymore like he does. I'm Alex, CEO of Vertex. We are the world's first ICO off the market. And it was a great conference. We met great people. And we were lucky enough to have some partners here of us as well, from Saudi Arabia and some team members. So make sure next conference you're here with us.
Yeah, thank you very much. And there we go. We're live again. This is straight out of Dubai. We're actually sitting in the Palms, one of the most awesome hotels here. You can see still a couple of people around there, but have a look. We're going to give you some exclusive information from these two ICOs on our channel. Back to you, Kane. Thank you.
Wow, so that was the Dubai Blockchain Summit live with Sfi and Mobu and Vertex. Stick around to the end of this video and we'll take a quick look at their websites. Very, very cool. Two awesome ICOs. To start off this content, we're going to be taking a look at some of the latest news on Bitcoin Chaser, and you can find that news just by redirecting yourself to the news tab. And the first thing we're going to be having a look at is, what is GPU mining? Now, the first thing that we want to keep in mind here is we're just going to be taking segments of this article out of the website, and it's up to you guys to go to later stage and read up on it yourself. Links to everything we discuss in our videos is down in the description below, so you can either read along with me or you can go to later stage if you're watching this video offline and you can check it out for yourself. So the first thing we want to check out here about what is GPU mining and how does it differ from ASIC mining, we can see that mining refers to the process of using CPU or GPU or ASIC processing power for the purposes of hashing blocks and verifying transactions on the blockchain. This is done in exchange for a reward in the form of cryptocurrency, either for hashing a block, which mints new coins, verifying a transaction to get a transaction fee, or both. Mining relies on computing power. That computing power comes from different kinds of hardware. CPU mining is mainly effective only on small cap coins or new POW coins, so it is less relevant for most people out there. GPUs and ASICs are the leading hardware option for people who want to mine on bigger cap coins. Following that, we can have a quick comparison of GPU and ASIC mining. Let's take a look at this. So GPU mining is non-dedicated processing power because you're basically using a piece of hardware that may or may not be used just for mining. So for instance, for something like a GTX 1080, you can mine with it, but it is not dedicated to providing processing power for mining, whereas ASIC is dedicated processing power. GPUs are reprogrammable, ASICs are non-reprogrammable, so they can kind of only be directed to one particular type of coin. GPU is rescalable, ASIC is non-rescalable. A GPU has the ability to repurpose, so you can mine with your GPU or you can go play games with your GPU. However, ASIC miners have a single purpose. They're relatively affordable, GPU miners. We can see that you can go into a store and buy like a 1050 or a 1050 Ti or 1060 and rack a few of them up, and you've got a pretty capable GPU mining rack. Whereas ASIC miners are expensive and you're often only going to find one piece of hardware for the same amount of price that you can maybe get multiple GPUs. A GPU miner basically has one advantage. It has highest turnover than a basic CPU. So if you're using like your i7 8700 to mine with, a GPU is going to provide more processing power and in turn get you more hashes out of it. Generally, an ASIC miner has generally a higher than single GPU unit. So you can basically get more processing power out of a GPU miner than you can from you can get more power out of a GPU miner than you can get out of a CPU, but ASIC generally has a higher CPU power, a higher processing power than a GPU. GPUs require multiple GPUs on a rig for profitability, and ASIC miner profitability with single GPU units. So that's basically an overview of what ASIC versus GPU mining is, and you can get a full overview of that. The link to that is in the description below. Right, moving on from that, let me know if you guys are having problems watching this stream. I see that we may or may not be offline, but I'm not sure. It says the video is unavailable on my screen here, so let's wait for it just to make some more sense. Don't know what is happening here. Let's just check. Sorry guys, I have to make sure that we're at least streaming when we're streaming, right? So now I'm going into the video, and now I just want to see that the video is in fact working. Don't know what is happening. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we are in fact working. It's just my overview that seems to be a little bit buggy. Right, so moving on from that, we're now going to take a look at blockchain ledgers 101, everything you need to know. And the first thing that we can see is a ledger is a system of recording financial transactions to ensure that all credits or debits and assets are balanced and accounted for. A blockchain ledger is an open source type of distributed ledger. In the instance, each piece of data is either stored or encrypted in a block of a blockchain. And a blockchain ledger is peer-to-peer. This means that transactions are not made by a third party. The fact that it is decentralized means that the data isn't stored in a single place. Data is distributed across a series of nodes that are responsible for storing blockchain ledger data and enabling transactions by checking the ledger every time a transaction is made. Right, amazing, right? So this is what a blockchain ledger is, but there is a lot more information to absorb here, and the link for that is in the description below. Now let's take a look at the effects of centralized mining before we move on to our video from the son of a chain and some exclusive information about sports betting. So the effects of centralized mining. Bitcoin sparked the revolution that made a significant advance towards Web 3.0 possible. I hate notifications. With a strong proof of concept for decentralization of money and transactions. Bitcoin's infrastructure is very centralized, with Bitmain, the Chinese Bitcoin mining giant, designing the ASIC chips that become a fixture of Bitcoin mining. But the centralization of the production of Bitcoin mining equipment and the equipment used to mine for other cryptocurrencies is not as straightforward as it seems on the surface. Mining centralization falls into three categories. First, we have the manufacturing of mining hardware falling into the hands of only a few corporations, as described above in the article, which doesn't necessarily operate all the equipment they produce. Instead, they sell it to other miners around the world, such as ASIC and Bitmain's mining hardware. Second category of mining centralization is the corporations that operate the equipment that corporations like Bitmain produce. Within the second category, we have a majority of hash power being controlled by a few companies, either directly or indirectly through smaller miners that join their pools. The third category of centralization is geography. If we have to look at hash rate per country, we can see that a substantial chunk of Bitcoin mining is happening in China. The Chinese government wanted to crack down on Bitcoin mining, but its success was partial at most. Nevertheless, this crackdown has forced miners to move their equipment elsewhere, with Canada, Iceland, and other countries having favorable weather conditions and relatively cheap electricity emerging as alternatives. So that is really the overview of how the effects of Bitcoin mining can be seen as centralized. Now we're going to move on to something really cool. We have some exclusive content from Son of a Chain giving us some information on the Bitcoin ETFs and what you should expect as a person who could potentially buy or hold Bitcoin. Let's take a look.
After the SEC announced that it would postpone its decision on the VanEck and SolidX ETFs, Bitcoin prices took a hit, with prices sliding about 9%. Around $9 billion USD were wiped out on Wednesday, according to various media sources. This highlights the role that exogenous forces have on Bitcoin and other altcoins. If we look at this from the security perspective, it seems the main vulnerability that Bitcoin has nowadays is an attack on its fiat price. As we know, to those who understand the system, coins are priceless. The SEC and other regulators have their own interests. Protecting the public is not necessarily high on their to-do list. Therefore, these shocks are completely artificial. During times like these, people should remember how poorly the SEC performed during the Enron accounting saga and how its regulations actively fueled the 2008 to 09 financial meltdown. The fact that the SEC postponed a decision on applications for 2 different Bitcoin ETFs should not discourage people from buying or holding Bitcoin. Nevertheless, people must keep in mind their financial goals before they make a brash decision that can cost them dearly. What I've been saying all along is that Bitcoin is a hedge against government excess, against the kind of role that institutions like the SEC play in the market. These institutions are not neutral. Everything they do has an impact, and their clout is substantial enough to turn them into market makers. That is precisely why I buy and hold Bitcoin. It is the only asset that I can hold that allows me to build a hedge against this kind of heavy-handed government intervention that has generated plenty of financial meltdowns. When it comes to what you should do, I can tell you that I don't give financial advice, and no one should take my comments as such. I just want you to consider how the whole financial system works and how your position within the system can affect your own personal goals. I will keep on hodling even if the downturn continues. Governments are bound to make a terrible mistake and plunge the world into its next recession at any given point in time.
Wow. So that's some input there from Son of a Chain, the anonymous provider of information for Bitcoin Chaser. Can you guess who that is? We will never know. We will never know. Maybe you can guess. And last, we're going to be listening to Theo, who's got some exclusive information from sports betting right now for us to take a listen to. Let's jump straight into that.
This is Theo Goodman from dgenbet.com reporting for Bitcoin Chaser. Let's check out what's going on in the sports betting world. Khabib against McGregor. It's time. The fight has been confirmed for October 6th in Las Vegas, even though McGregor threw chairs at a bus, talks, his normal shit talk online. It's going to happen. And there's definitely some bad blood between these guys. So it's going to be an interesting fight. Nate Diaz isn't exactly happy about not getting one of these matchups, but I'm sure he'll get his. And let's check out what's going on with the odds. Who do you think should be the favorite or the underdog in this situation? Well, Khabib is the clear favorite, but man, there's been some movement on these odds. There was enough money to move the odds significantly that came on McGregor because it opened at 1.41. Now it's at 1.65. So I think it's about opening at about minus 200. And it's definitely a lot higher right now. Same thing for fight goes to a decision. It's a 5-round fight. Opened at 2.6, now it's at 3.15. So definitely some people are betting on the it doesn't go the distance, which I can understand, but it's going to be interesting to see what the over under 1.5 or over under 2.5 are going to be. And it's going to be interesting to see how these lines develop as the shit talking continues and whatever other drama. So if you are interested in trading these odds, or you just want to catch some good odds, then I would pay attention to these lines because they could move significantly depending on what's going on with drama, what people think. Who knows? Maybe McGregor will get a lot of appearances, a lot of money will come in on him. Who knows? In other news, the summer is heating up, the end of the summer, and it's time for soccer. Now, the English Premier League is going to start on this coming Friday, actually, and Saturday is the big day with a lot of games. In Germany, the second Bundesliga has already started, and the first Bundesliga will start at the end of the month. But let's go and check out what's going on this Friday. The first game of the EPL is going to be Manchester United against Leicester City, and Manchester United is the favorite in this one. Let's see, but they've got to go to Leicester City and play. It should be an interesting opening match there. Some other odds that look pretty interesting are Chelsea, favorite, but decent odds at minus 164 if you want to take them to win against Huddersfield, and also Everton as an underdog at home at plus 215. also quite interesting. And Liverpool in their first time out this time around, also a big favorite at West Ham. Who do you think is going to win the EPL this year? Manchester City is a big favorite. Opened at -150, but now you can get it at +380. So that just shows you need to shop around for odds and pay attention to the movement. Liverpool, Manchester United, Chelsea, and Tottenham are among the top to win the whole thing. Who do you think is going to win? You think it's going to be Manchester City again? You think that Manchester United is just going to be Manchester running this show again? Put who you think is going to win in the comments below. This was Theo Goodman from dgenbet.com reporting for Bitcoin Chaser. Please check out the links in the description. Follow me on Twitter at dgenbet1 and at TheoG_. Thanks again for watching. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe.
Great, so that was Theo Goodman on what's happening right now with sports betting and some upcoming events that you can pay attention to if you are interested in that kind of environment. If you're a sports betting fan, you know what I mean? I know I am, so I definitely enjoyed that video. Next, we're taking a look at, if you remember in the beginning, we had that live video from Sfi from the Dubai Blockchain Summit, and who was in that video was Mobu, and this is their website for Mobu. You can sign up to their newsletter by entering in your email address down here below. But the link for that is in the description below. So if you're interested on who Mobu is, go check them out in the link in the description or once this video is finished, right? Next up, we have Vertex.market, where you can also register on their website. They currently have an airdrop active and a bounty. You can get a lot of free VTEXP tokens. Very, very cool stuff there. Go check it out and see what's happening. Right, guys, so that is the Bitcoin Chaser video for today. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like. If you loved this video, do give it a subscribe. Lots of cool content coming out soon. We also have an upcoming faucet page on Bitcoin Chaser with some guides and tutorials. So if you're into that faucet stuff, you can pay attention on our channel for that video coming out. Right, thank you, everybody. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheerio. Bye-bye.